This jury's swiftness in coming back with a decision on the top charge.
Whenever there's a swift verdict, it's oftentimes in favor of the prosecution, so I'm not entirely surprised here. I'd say in this particular case, I empathize quite a bit with this defense attorney. I think he did an amazing job, but was ultimately frustrated by something you mentioned, which is the fact that Dima actually took the stand. As you mentioned, he struggled, he was frustrated, he said things that made the jury hate him, well, likely made them hate him, things like, these people were not my parents. He kept making statements like, I was insane, which just makes it seem like he was coached. And I think the big thing here is he was explicitly told by his counsel not to take the stand, but he chose to do so anyway, and I think that's ultimately the thing that resulted in this swift verdict.
Alan, I think so, because, you know, the way the defense counsel was positioning this case, the strategy was to talk about manslaughter. The problem was then you had defendant go up there and take the stand, and on cross-examination, she was able to get out from him that he had thought about killing his parents one time before, that he had thought about things moments before he went into the house and began stabbing. Well, if you follow the jury instructions, if you follow the law, that shows there's premeditation here. It is a very easy decision for jurors to come back with that first-degree murder. Had he not taken the stand, defense counsel could have provided more of an argument that there was no premeditation here.
Absolutely. There was no evidence of premeditation until Dima chose to take the stand against the advice of his attorney. And as you mentioned, during cross-examination, this prosecutor filled in the missing gaps by getting him to admit that there were prior instances where he thought about this, which establishes intent. Had he not taken the stand, that evidence wouldn't have come out.
Yeah, I just want to say, during that police interview, he did mention some things, but I do think as a defense counsel, you could have even worked with that and said that's not really what he was saying. He was under pressure. So even though he did make some comments in that police interview that maybe I had thought about it before, I think as a defense counsel, you still could work with that.
Much more than what we saw on the stand. And Alan, you talked about just how difficult it is for an attorney. I noticed when the verdict was coming in that Dima was asking questions of his attorney and maybe getting a, I can't talk about it right now, let's listen to the verdict, but he seemed to want to know some things right away. What's that like for an attorney? If you've told your client, don't take the stand, and they make this choice, you've now got to go forward, and they're getting ready to talk about sentencing. It's not going to be scheduled today, but can you just take us into that portion of an attorney-client relationship?
It's the most frustrating feeling in the world. I saw how that defense attorney, his face was flushed, he was red. The frustration you have knowing that you have a case that you can likely win, and by win, I mean get it down to perhaps a manslaughter or a second degree. You know you have a good argument, but then your client goes against your wishes, takes the stand, says harmful stuff, and now you're here basically having, like, experiencing the thing that you warned him about. This is the verdict that you thought was going to happen if he took the stand. Now it's happening. It is one of the worst feelings in the world. And at the same time, you have to maintain a straight face. You have to keep doing your best for your client, even though that client has messed everything up.
Yeah. Oh, God. Alan, thank you so much. We're going to squeeze in a quick break. They're taking a little break there. They're discussing the scheduling for the sentencing. When they do, we'll bring that to you. In the meantime, we're taking a short break.
Mama